Welcome back to another session on Riemannian geometry. Elements of Riemannian geometry part 3. We have seen the differentiation of vector fields in the last session. Let us continue with Riemannian metric and then see the fundamental theorem of Riemannian geometry. Fundamental theorem of Riemannian geometry. Let M be a differentiable manifold. Suppose that each tangent space TPM of M is equipped with the positive definite symmetric bilinear form inner product P, so that for any two smooth vector fields xy from M to Tm, the function P element of M goes to inner product xp yp is smooth. We know that M together with this structure is a Riemannian manifold. The system of bilinear forms on the tangent spaces is the Riemannian metric on M. Definition: a connection D on M is compatible with the Riemannian metric if parallel translation preserves inner products. In other words, for any curve gamma and any pair xy of parallel vector fields along gamma, the inner product xy should be a constant. Lemma: suppose that the connection is compatible with the metric. Let V W be any two vector fields along gamma. Then d by dt of inner product V W is equal to inner product dV by dt W plus inner product V dW by dt. Corollary: an affine connection on a Riemannian manifold is compatible with the metric if and only if for any vector fields x1 x2 on M and any tangent vector y element of TPM, we have y into inner product x1 x2 is equal to inner product del y x1 x2 plus inner product x1 del y x2. Next is a theorem which is the fundamental theorem of Riemannian geometry. The statement is like this: a Riemannian manifold possesses one and only one symmetric connection which is compatible with its metric. The proof is like this: applying the compatibility condition to the basis vector fields dou I, dou j and dou k corresponding to a fixed chart on the manifold and setting inner product dou j dou k is equal to g j k, one obtains the identity dou I g j k is equal to inner product del dou I dou j dou k plus inner product dou j del dou I dou k. Permuting I, j and k, this gives three linear equations relating the three quantities inner product del dou I dou j dou k, del dou j dou k dou I, del dou k dou I dou j. There are only three such quantities since del dou I dou j is equal to del dou j dou I. These equations can be solved uniquely, yielding the first Christoffel identity. Inner product del dou I dou j dou k is equal to half into dou I g j k plus dou j g I k minus dou k g I j. The left hand side of this identity is equal to summation L equal to 1 to n gamma I j L g L k. Multiplying by the inverse g k L of the matrix g L k, this yields the second Christoffel identity gamma I j L is equal to summation k equal to 1 to n half into dou I g j k plus dou j g I k minus dou k g I j into g k L. Thus, the connection is uniquely determined by the metric. Conversely, defining gamma I j L by this formula, one can verify that the resulting connection is symmetric and compatible with the metric. This completes the proof. Next is Levi-Civita connection. The unique symmetric affine connection which is compatible with the metric on a Riemannian manifold is called the Levi-Civita connection. The connection del we introduced on open sets of Rn is just the Levi-Civita connection of Rn. We will move on to curvature. If del is an affine connection on a manifold M, then we may consider the operator Rxy is equal to box product del x del y minus del xy from psi m to psi m, where box product del x del y is equal to del x composite del y minus del y composite del x is the usual commutator of operators. The mapping that assigns to the vector fields xy the operator Rxy is called the curvature operator of the connection. The assignment psi m cross psi m goes to psi m xyz goes to r xyz is called the curvature tensor of the connection. To reduce the number of brackets, we shall denote r xyz simply by r xy comma z. Thus, the letter r is used in two different meanings. Later, it will denote also a third mapping, but the number of arguments of r makes always clear which meaning is considered. Proposition. The curvature tensor is linear over the ring of smooth functions in each of its arguments, and it is skew symmetric in the first two arguments. The proposition is a bit surprising because the curvature tensor is built up from covariant derivations which are not linear operators over the ring of smooth functions. Tensors of valency 1, 0 are vector fields, tensors of valency 0, 1 are the differential one forms. Thus, a differential one form assigns to every point of the manifold a linear function on the tangent space at that point. Differential one forms form a module over the ring of smooth functions which we denote omega 1 m. Beside skew symmetry in the first two arguments, the curvature tensor has many other symmetric properties. Now, we will move on to first Bianchi identity, which is stated as a theorem. If R is the curvature tensor of a torsion free connection, then R xyz plus R yzx plus R zxy is equal to 0 for any three vector fields x, y and z. The presence of an affine connection on a manifold allows us to differentiate not only vector fields, but also tensor fields of any type. Definition. Let M del be a manifold with an affine connection. If omega element of omega Lm is a one form, x is a vector field, then we define the covariant derivative del x omega of omega with respect to x to be the one form del x omega of y is equal to x omega of y minus omega del x of y, where y is an element of psi m. In general, the covariant derivative del x t of a tensor field T from omega Lm cross etc. omega Lm cross psi m cross etc. psi m goes to f of m of valency KL with respect to a vector field x is a tensor field of the same valency defined by del x t of omega 1 omega 2 etc. omega k x1 x2 etc. xl is equal to x into t omega 1 omega 2 etc. omega k x1 x2 etc. xl minus summation I equal to 1 to k t of omega 1 etc. del x omega I etc. omega k x1 x2 etc. xl minus summation j equal to 1 to L t of omega 1 etc. omega k x1 x2 etc. del x of xj etc. xl. For the case of the curvature tensor, this definition gives del x r of yzw is equal to del x r yzw minus r into del x y zw minus r y del x zw minus r y z del x w. Theorem. Second Bianchi identity. The statement is like this: the curvature tensor of a torsion free connection satisfies the following identity: del x r of yzw plus del y r of zxw plus del z r of xyw is equal to 0. In the remaining part of this unit, we shall deal with Riemannian manifolds. If M, the inner product, is a Riemannian manifold with Levi-Civita connection del and R is the curvature tensor of del, then we can introduce a tensor R tilde of valency 0, 4 related to R by the equation R tilde xy zw is equal to inner product R xyz comma w. R tilde is the Riemannian-Christoffel curvature tensor of the Riemannian manifold. To simplify notation, we shall denote R tilde also by R. This will not lead to confusion since Riemannian-Christoffel's tensor and the ordinary curvature tensor have different number of arguments. Levi-Civita connections are connections of special type, so it is not surprising that the curvature tensor of a Riemannian manifold has stronger symmetries than that of an arbitrary connection. Of course, the general results can be applied to Riemannian manifolds as well and yield R xy zw is equal to minus R yx zw, and the sum of values at all circular permutations of R xy ZW is equal to 0. In addition to these symmetries, we have the following theorem. The Riemann-Christoffel curvature tensor is skew symmetric in the last two arguments, that is Rxyzw is equal to minus Rxywz. The proof is like this. By the compatibility of the connection and the metric, we have x into y inner product Zw is equal to x into inner product del y Zw plus inner product z del y w, which is equal to inner product del x del y z w plus inner product del y z del x w plus inner product del x z del y w plus inner product z del x del y w. And similarly, y into x inner product Zw is equal to inner product del y del x z w plus inner product del x z del y w plus inner product del y z del x w plus inner product z del y del x w. We also have box product xy into inner product Zw is equal to inner product del xy Zw plus inner product z del xy w. Subtracting from the first equality the second and the third one and applying box product xy is equal to x composite y minus y composite x, we obtain 0 equal to inner product del x del y z minus del y del x z minus del box product xy Zw plus inner product z del x del y w minus del y del x w minus del box product xy w, which is equal to r of xy Zw plus r xy Zw. The symmetries we have by now imply a further symmetry. The theorem: assume that R is an arbitrary tensor of valency 0, 4 having the following symmetry properties: R xy Zw is equal to minus R yx Zw, which is equal to minus R xy wz, and R xy Zw plus R yz xw plus R zx yw is equal to 0. Then R of xy Zw is equal to R of Zw xy. We know from linear algebra that a symmetric bilinear form is uniquely determined by its quadratic form. More generally, when a tensor has some symmetries, it can be reconstructed from its restriction to a suitable linear subspace of its domain. For tensors having the symmetries of a curvature tensor, we have the following proposition. Let S1 and S2 be tensors or tensor fields of valency 0, 4 satisfying the following relations: Si of xy Zw is equal to minus Si yx Zw equal to minus Si xy wz, and Si xy Zw plus Si yz xw plus Si zx yw is equal to 0. Then if S1 of xy yx is equal to S2 of xy yx for every x and y, then S1 is equal to S2. The proof: consider the difference S is equal to S1 minus S2. S has the same symmetries as S1 and S2, that is S xy yx is equal to 0 for all xy, and we have to show S is equal to 0. We have for any xyz 0 equal to S of x y plus z x is equal to S of xy yx plus S of xy zx plus S of xz yx plus S of xz zx, which is equal to S of xy zx plus S of xz yx plus S of xy zx plus S of yz xx plus S of zx yx, which is equal to 2 times S of xy zx. Now taking 4 arbitrary vector fields x, y, z and w and using S of xy zx is equal to 0, we obtain 0 equal to S of x plus w y z x plus w, which is equal to S of xy zx plus S of xy zw plus S of wy zx plus S of wy zw which is equal to S of xy zw plus S of wy zx. That is, S is skew symmetric in the first and fourth variables. Thus, S of xy zw is equal to S of yx wz is equal to minus S of zx wy is equal to S of zx yw. In other words, S is invariant under cyclic permutations of the first three variables, but the sum of the three equal quantities S xy zw, S yz xw and S zx yw is 0 because of the Bianchi symmetry. Thus, S of xy zw is 0. Next is a definition. Let M be a Riemannian manifold, P a point on M, x and y two non-parallel tangent vectors at P. The number k of xy is equal to r xy yx by norm x square norm y square minus inner product xy square is called the sectional curvature of M at P in the direction of the plane spanned by the vectors x and y in TPM. The name assumes that k xy depends only on the plane spanned by the vectors x and y. This is indeed so, since if x1 y1 and x2 y2 are two bases for a two-dimensional linear space, then we can transform one of them into the other by a finite number of elementary basis transformations of the form x goes to alpha x, y goes to beta y, where alpha beta not equal to 0, and x goes to x plus y, y goes to y, and x goes to y, y goes to x. And we have the following proposition. If M is a Riemannian manifold with sectional curvature k, x and y are tangent vectors at P element of M, alpha and beta are non-zero scalars, then first one, k of xy is equal to k of x plus y y, and second one, k of xy is equal to k of alpha x beta y. Third one, k xy is equal to k yx. Proof. First one follows from r of x plus y x plus y is equal to r of xy yx plus r of xy yy plus r of yy yx plus r of yy yy, which is equal to r of xy yx, and norm x plus y the whole square into norm y square minus inner product x plus y y square is equal to norm x square plus norm y square plus 2 inner product x y into norm y square minus inner product x y square plus 2 inner product x y into norm y square plus norm y raised to 4, which is equal to norm x square norm y square minus inner product x y square. And second follows from r of alpha x beta y alpha x is equal to alpha square beta square r x y y z, and norm alpha x square norm beta y square minus inner product alpha x beta y square is equal to alpha square beta square into norm x square norm y square minus inner product x y square. Finally, 3 comes from the equalities r x y y x is equal to r y x x y and norm x square norm y square minus inner product x y square is equal to norm y square norm x square minus inner product y x square. Definition. Riemannian manifolds, the sectional curvature function of which is constant, is called spaces of constant curvature or simply space forms. The space form is elliptic or spherical if k greater than 0, k is parabolic or Euclidean if k is equal to 0, and is hyperbolic if k is less than 0. Typical examples are the n-dimensional sphere, Euclidean space and hyperbolic space. Further examples can be obtained by factorization with fixed point free actions of discrete groups. Now let us move on to Schur's theorem. The statement is like this: if M is a connected Riemannian manifold, dimension of M greater than or equal to 3 and the sectional curvature k of xp yp, where xp yp is an element of TPM, depends only on P and does not depend on the plane spanned by xp and yp, then k is constant, that is, as a matter of fact, it does not depend on P either. The proof is like this: by the assumption r of xy yx is equal to f of norm x square y square minus inner product xy square for some function f, Our goal is to show that f is a constant. Consider the tensor field of valency 0, 4 defined by S of x y z w is equal to f of inner product x w inner product y z minus inner product x z inner product y w. It is clear from the definition that S is skew symmetric in the first and last two arguments. S is also the Bianchi symmetry. Indeed, we also have R of x y y x is equal to S of x y y x. Therefore, R is equal to S. Now set S tilde of x y z is equal to f of inner product y z into x minus inner product x z into y. Then inner product R of x y z w is equal to R of x y z w, which is equal to S of x y z w, which is equal to the inner product S tilde x y z comma w. That is, R of x y z is equal to S tilde of x y z for all x y z. Differentiating with respect to a vector field u, we get del u R of x y z is equal to del u S tilde of x y z, which is equal to del u of S tilde x y z minus S tilde of del u x y z minus S tilde of x del u y z minus S tilde of x y del u z. Since del u of S tilde x y z is equal to u of f inner product y z x minus inner product x z y plus f of del u of inner product y z into x minus inner product x z into y, which is equal to u of f into inner product y z x minus inner product x z y plus f of u inner product y z x plus inner product y z into del u x minus u into inner product x z y minus inner product x z into del u y, which is equal to u f into inner product y z x minus inner product x z y plus f of inner product del u y z x plus inner product y del u z into x plus inner product y z del u x minus inner product del u x z y minus inner product x del u z y minus inner product x z del u y, which is equal to u of f inner product y z x minus inner products x z y plus S tilde of del u x y z plus S tilde of x del u y z plus x tilde of x y del u z. Using this, we obtain del u r of x y z is equal to del u S tilde of x y z, which is equal to u of f inner product y z x minus inner product x z y. Using the second Bianchi identity, this gives us the sum of the values at the circular permutations of u of f into inner product y z x minus inner product x z y is equal to the sum of the values at the circular permutations of del u r of x y z equal to 0. If x is an element of TPM is an arbitrary tangent vector to the manifold, then we can find non-zero vectors y and z equal to u element of TPM such that x, y and u are orthogonal, that is dimension of M is greater than or equal to 3. Then 0 equal to u of f into inner product y z x minus inner product x z y is equal to x of f inner product u u into y minus y of f into inner product u u into x. Since x and y are linearly independent, x of f inner product u u is equal to y of f inner product u u equal to 0, and since inner product u u is positive, therefore x f is equal to y f is equal to 0, yielding that the derivative of f in an arbitrary direction x is 0. This means that f is locally constant, and since M is connected, f is a constant. Ricci tensor and Ricci curvature. The curvature tensor is a complicated object containing a lot of information about the geometry of the manifold. There are some useful ways to derive some simpler tensor fields from the curvature tensor. Definition: let M del be a manifold with an affine connection, R be the curvature tensor of del. The Ricci tensor RIC of the connection is a tensor field of valency 0, 2, assigning to the vector fields x and y the function RIC of xy, the value of which at p element of M is the trace of the linear mapping TPM to TPM, where ZP goes to R of ZP XP YP, where ZP is an element of TPM. Proposition: the Ricci tensor of a Riemannian manifold is a symmetric tensor, that is RIC of xy is equal to RIC of yx. Proof: let E1, E2, etc. En be an orthonormal basis in TPM, where P is an arbitrary point in the Riemannian manifold M. We can compute the trace of a linear mapping A from TPM to TPM by the formula trace of A is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n inner product A of EI, and in particular RIC of xyp is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n inner product R of EIXP yp comma EI, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n inner product R of XP EI yp EI, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n R of yp EI EIXP, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n inner product R yp EI EIXP, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n inner product R EIYP XP EI, which is equal to RIC of YXP. Since the Ricci tensor of a Riemannian manifold is symmetric, it is uniquely determined by its quadratic form x goes to RIC of xx. Next is a definition. Let xp element of TPM be a non-zero tangent vector of a Riemannian manifold M. The Ricci curvature of M at P in the direction xp is the number R of xp is equal to RIC of xp by norm xp square. Fixing an orthonormal basis xp by norm xp square, which is equal to E1, E2, etc. En, we can express the Ricci curvature as follows: R of xp is equal to RIC of xp by norm xp square, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n R of EIXP XP EI by norm xp square, which is equal to summation I equal to 2 to n k of XP EI. The meaning of this formula is that the Ricci curvature in the direction xp is the sum of the sectional curvatures in the directions of the planes spanned by the vectors xp and EI, where EI runs over an orthonormal basis of the orthogonal complement of xp in TPM. It is a nice geometrical corollary that this sum is independent of the choice of the orthogonal basis. With the help of a scalar product, one can associate to every bilinear function a linear transformation. For a case of the Riemannian metric and the Ricci tensor, we can find a unique f of m linear transformation RIC bar from psi m to psi m such that RIC of xy is equal to inner product x RIC bar y for every xy element of psi m. Next is a definition. The scalar curvature S of P of a Riemannian manifold M at a point P is the trace of the linear mapping RIC bar from TPM to TPM. Let us find an expression for the scalar curvature in terms of the Ricci curvature and the sectional curvature. Let E1, E2, etc. En be an orthonormal basis in TPM, then S of P is equal to the trace of RIC bar, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n inner product RIC bar EI comma EI, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n RIC of EI, which is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n R of EI. That is, S of P is the sum of Ricci curvatures in the directions of an orthogonal basis. Furthermore, S of P is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n R of EI is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n summation j equal to 1 to n j not equal to I k of EI Ej, which is equal to 2 times summation 1 less than or equal to I less than j less than or equal to n k of EI Ej. That is, the scalar curvature is twice the sum of sectional curvatures taken in the directions of all coordinate planes of an orthonormal coordinate system in TPM. Before we conclude, let us summarize what we have learned in this session. We started the session with the fundamental theorem of Riemannian geometry, which states that a Riemannian manifold possesses one and only one symmetric connection which is compatible with its metric. Then we started with the topics on curvature. We have defined curvature operator and curvature tensor. We have seen the Bianchi identities, Then we define Riemann-Christoffel tensor and have seen its symmetric properties. We have stated Schur's theorem and seen that what is Ricci tensor and Ricci curvature. We have also obtained an expression for the scalar curvature in terms of the Ricci curvature and the sectional curvature. Here are some exercise problems based on the topics from this session. First one, consider tensors of valency 0, 4 over an n-dimensional vector space V that satisfy S of xyzw is equal to minus S of yxzw is equal to minus S of xywz, S of xyzw is equal to 0. Prove that these tensors form a linear space and determine the dimension of the space. Second one, prove that if x1 and x2 are two non-parallel principal directions at a given point P of a hyperspace M, k1 and k2 are the corresponding principal curvatures, then k of x1 x2 is equal to k1 k2. What is the minimum and maximum of k of xy when x and y run over TPM? Third problem, express the Ricci curvature of a hyperspace in Rn plus 1 in a principal direction in terms of the principal curvatures. Fourth one, express the scalar curvature of a hyperspace in terms of the principal curvatures. These are some books for further reference. First one is Introduction to Differential Geometry by J. A. Thorpe, Springer Verlag. Second one, Lecture Notes on Elementary Topology and Geometry by I. M. Singer and J. A. Thorpe, Springer Verlag 1967. Third one is Elementary Differential Geometry by B. O. Neal, Academic Press 1966. Fourth one is Lectures on Differential Geometry by S. Sternberg, Prentice Hall 1964. Fifth one, Differential and Riemannian Geometry by D. Lowitz, Academic Press 1965. Sixth one, Riemannian Geometry by S. Gallet, D. Hullin and J. Lefantine, Springer Verlag 1987. Seventh one, Riemannian Geometry and Geometric Analysis, 4th edition by Jürgen Jost, Springer. With this, we come to an end of this session, and thank you for watching this program.